Hello, everyone. This video is about Claire Week and what she talks about in terms of facing and accepting anxiety and where people often go wrong with it. So, this is to sort of clear up some confusion and to help you identify perhaps where facing and acceptance is maybe a little bit of resistance unknowingly, unbeknownst to you, or putting up with, as so often happens. I've done other videos on the let time pass and floating. I've done lots on that. But this again is about what Claire talks about facing anxiety and accepting it. What does she mean, and how do you know you're doing it right? So, and this is only if you're struggling with it. If you feel that you're facing it well, you're accepting anxiety, then keep doing what you're doing. So the first thing is facing. I'll address each one separately, because why does she talk about facing versus acceptance? Isn't it the same thing? And of course, they're connected and related. But facing simply means that instead of running from the fear, running from the anxiety, metaphorically, physically sometimes, or at least mentally trying to escape from it, because for so many years, we've been bewildered by it, we're just like, right, I now know what you are. I know your sensitization, so I'm going to face you. I'm going to deal with you now. I'm going to stop running from you mentally, and I'm going to deal with you as anxiety. Now, often we're running from the so-called tiger because our flight or fight's activated, but with our deeper understanding, our knowledge of nervous system sensitization, we know that the tiger is a mirage. It's the toothless tiger, so we can face it. We can face the fact that we're anxious and decide that we're not going to run anymore. We're not going to fight either. We're going to face it. So facing doesn't mean we're going to turn and fight and we're going to, all right, I'm going to tackle you once and for all. That's buying into it. That goes too far. That goes back into resistance. So we can see, all right, I'm going to turn and face you. And then we shift into acceptance, as opposed to, right, I'm going to face you and then go into battle. That's often what we do. All right, I'm going to face you for 3 hours or 10 hours or 11 hours, and so we sort of, with good intention, we end up going into battle. We go back into flight or fight. If we know it's unpleasant, not serious, it's just nervous system sensitization, the tiger is toothless, it's a mirage, it has no power, then we can face it. We can just face the sensations and feelings. We can slow down and write, okay, I'm facing, and then quickly move into acceptance, or naturally move into acceptance. So again, facing, you're not turning and fighting, you're doing the opposite. You're allowing. That's why I talk about allowing it all the time, because you know what it is. So we can face the toothless tiger knowing it's just a bit of adrenaline at the end of the day. So we're mentally not running anymore. We're not trying to get rid of, we're not pushing it aside, we're not fighting. So that's what facing is. The second thing is acceptance. So acceptance is simply accepting that we're sensitized. I've got adrenaline in the system. I've got unpleasant symptoms. I'm accepting my heart's racing. I've got intrusive thoughts. The obsessive thoughts are whirling. And that's okay. We can accept them because they're unpleasant but not serious, because they're fueled by adrenaline. So that's all it is. We're just accepting that we're in an anxious moment. There's been a surge of panic and nothing more. We're not accepting that it's awful and hideous and that we're going to be like this forever. Sometimes we think we've got to accept it to the point that it becomes pleasant, or sit there waiting for it to become pleasant. I'm accepting, but why is it still here? We're accepting that it's happening, full stop, knowing that it will peter out in its own time. The paradox is it's unpleasant, but it's okay. I'm still okay. It's just adrenaline, coaching yourself through it. We don't have to it doesn't have to cease for us to be okay, because we know what it is. We're not accepting it's going to be like this forever. We're not accepting that we're in the anxiety state forever, anything like that. We're not accepting that we're not trying to pretend that the symptoms are easy and perfect and comfortable. We're accepting that they're there. It's just adrenaline. They're unpleasant, but not serious. So we're facing it, we're choosing to deal with the anxiety, and we're not going to run from it anymore. We've done that for 2. We've pushed it away, run from it, tried to fight it, resisted it, tried to control everything so we didn't get triggered. We're not doing that anymore. We're facing it and choosing to deal with the anxiety as it arises. Then we shift into accepting that there are unpleasant symptoms. There's adrenaline. It's uncomfortable. That's okay. I don't need to get rid of it because it's not serious. I'm not accepting it's going to be like this forever. I'm just allowing it to be there. I'm accepting that I'm in the anxiety state. I'm having I had a moment of panic. And that's okay. And then, of course, we switch into floating, slowing down, going loose, allowing, so you can stay in that acceptance without getting lost in the thoughts again, obsessing about the symptoms. And they've got a number of videos on what floating means. There's that 30-minute guided practice that's all about letting it all happen without sitting in the symptoms or without getting lost in the thoughts. This fine line between allowing the symptoms and the thoughts to do what they want in the background. You imagine them floating above your head, whatever. As you go loose, slow down and move forward with life. But I wanted to contain this video to the face and accept. I'm not going into battle by facing. I'm not accepting it's going to be like this forever. We're not even having to pretend to accept that they're pleasant. Sometimes we feel we've got to almost fake that we're comfortable with the symptoms. It's okay if they're uncomfortable. We're still fine. So I hope that helps clarify where you might be going off track. If you've got other questions, let me know and I can do a follow-up to try and address that. But otherwise, take care.